Hi, I'm John Glynn, and today I'm going to do an overview of using the clone tool in the toolbox in Photoshop and remove this lamppost that is in pretty much the middle of my picture here above the red boat. Now, to remove that lamppost, one would just suspect that you could erase it, remove it completely and just rub it out. In my toolbox I do have the eraser tool, and if I were to rub this lamppost out, sure enough I can, but as you can see it leaves a white area in my picture because behind my photograph is actually a piece of white paper, effectively. It's white because in my toolbox I've got two squares here, one black, one white. If I click the white box I can get a different colour. Let's say red, and now when I rub that out I now get a red piece of paper in the background of my photograph. The black box is also ink and works like a pen, so if I were to write my name, there we are, or I could change that colour too and choose a different colour and say OK, and now I've got a blue name instead of black ink. Okay, so these boxes relate to coloured ink, and that's the eraser tool and the pen tool and so on work on that basis. So we can't utilise the eraser tool to remove aspects of the picture. We need to actually use another tool, and what we want to do is put something into the picture to remove parts of the picture. So in this window here I've got the history palette open. History palette is underneath the window option in the top toolbar. I'll get history, and that allows me to undo a group of things all in one go. There we are, I've deleted what I've just done. You could also use edit and undo, and in Photoshop Elements you've got choices to do other things as well. There's an undo option. Right, I'll choose the clone stamp tool, and you'll see the clone stamp tool when I click on it. Options will appear in the top bar above my picture. This will relate to the size of the brush that I'm using. The bigger the number, the bigger the brush. You'll see that on my picture. There we have a very big brush and a very small brush, and also how hard or soft the edges of my brush will be. We want any work to be done to be hidden, so therefore I will use a soft edge brush, and at the moment it's on minus hardness, no hardness at all, which is what we want. And so I can choose a brush size. Now the brush size is related to my magnification on the monitor. As I zoom in, my brush size will effectively become bigger. Okay, all of these options will either be at the top of your picture or at the bottom, depending on the version of Adobe Photoshop you're using. Other brushes are also available as options here, and sizes as well, but you can choose your size from just dragging the slider left and right. And so I'm going to zoom in, and the reason I'm going to zoom in is because if we try and work on a picture at this magnification, any changes we make will become more obvious for people to see. So we need to magnify where we're working, and there are different choices on doing that. You could use the magnification tool in the toolbox as well, do 100%, that zooms in. But on the right hand side here I've got a thing that's called Navigator. Navigator can also be picked up under Window, and if I go to Window there's Navigator, and I can move around my picture with Navigator, and I can also zoom in and out using the slider tool under Navigator. I can click anywhere inside the window in Navigator to make my little red square jump to that part of the magnification I want to magnify, and you want to magnify it fairly big. The closer you are to any changes you make, the better. There is a point, obviously, you still have to be able to understand what you're looking at. I'm using a pen tool, so it's just picking up. That's it, the option is there. Go back to my clone stamp tool, and now you can see my brush is very big. Okay, because I've zoomed in so much, I've now zoomed in to 280%. That's in the Navigator window. It's also at the bottom left hand side of my photograph, and in the top of my photograph where the name of the picture is also tells me the magnification that I've zoomed into. There's nothing to do with printing, it's just magnification on the screen. That brush is now pretty big, so I don't need it to be that big, so I can reduce the size. There we are, it's maybe more manageable. And now I'm going to pick up the sky. I want to put something into the picture that already exists in the picture, because then it is more natural to be in the photograph, and in this case the sky is the most natural thing to put in. So I click the Alt key down and choose a part of the picture I want to copy from. So by holding the Alt key down and clicking in a particular area with the left mouse key, I can choose where I'm working from. I then let go of the Alt key and put my picture over what I'm going to cover. Hold down the left mouse key again on my mouse, and lo and behold, I can start removing the elements of my picture that I don't wish. Now there's crosshairs. Every time I hold down my left mouse key, you'll see that there are crosshairs appearing in the picture. Whatever the crosshairs is will be copied over to the area I'm working in. If I slide down, I can start taking parts of the picture out. I can readjust where those crosshairs are just by going back over and saying, right, there it is, hold the Alt key down, click once with the left mouse key, and that chooses that spot. The size of that crosshairs there is the same size as my brush, by the way, even though it looks smaller. It is actually the same size. So you just have to be aware of that. If you're working in very, very small parts of your picture, very critical parts of a picture, you have to be aware of how big your selection area is, as related to the brush size as well. Okay, we'll just move down. Now I'm heading very close to the wall here, so I have to be very much more accurate with my selection, otherwise I'm going to put some of the sky over the wall, which would look unnatural. So I'm going to change the point that I'm going to select. Now if I select the wall, for instance, and start painting, you'll see that I can put things into the picture as well. So obviously don't want to do that, so I'll undo that by going to my history palette and just dragging that selection into the dustbin. I'm going to choose a portion of the sky, and that brush is now fairly big, so I'm going to reduce the size of the brush, make it smaller to work with, and just be a bit more accurate with my selection. Now then, that's a bit better. I now want to put that metal bar across the top. So again, I choose a selection point, put my mouse at the beginning of where I want to start, and just drag across, and I now have got rid of that bit of the lamppost and put the wall in its place. And now wanting to choose this bit of wall to start removing all of this. Now exactly what part of the wall you take is up to you, because nobody's really going to know what you're copying here. Hold down the Alt key and just get it to select, that's it. And I can then go over the brickwork and put in new brick and slide down. Now as I get close to the bottom again, I'm going to have to be careful of what my selection will be. So let's just move up slightly and come back down a bit. And now I'm at the bottom here. I need to get the ground also in, so I'm going to choose maybe that bit there and move across. And I've now taken out my lamp. Now I know that, you know, there was a wall there. Maybe you're thinking, oh well, people will know that there was a lamp. But I think once we start to come out at a normal magnification, let's just go back and just say, right, okay, there we are, fixed screen. You'll have a job and a half to tell that there was a lamppost in that position. And if I go back to the original picture, there was a lamppost. Now I'm going back to the new picture, no lamppost. I'll do it again. Original, new. And even if I zoomed into 100% magnification and said lamppost, and then take it out, it's very unlikely that anybody would go, oh, there was a lamppost there. You will always know, but most people would have no awareness. If there are the odd bit of line, well, you could always go back in and just say, right, let's just make that a bit bigger. Who's to be aware of what the clouds are really like in any particular area, and you can just sort of muck up the area a bit and break up any kind of pattern that might have been created, and that makes it less likely that anybody would know. Who's to know what the bricks were like? So keeping things simple and having plain backgrounds or very simple backgrounds makes it much easier to remove aspects of your picture. Obviously, the more complicated the pattern or whatever it might be, the more accurate you need to be. And working on different size brushes might be the answer to that. Do magnify, because generally speaking, you're going to be putting a picture to a 7x5 inch print or an A4 print, so you don't want people to be able to see that you've done any work, or not obviously anyway, and I think they'd have a job to know that we'd actually been working on that picture. By the stretch of the imagination. So you must, for using the clone stamp tool, the idea is to put something back into the picture which is already relevant to the image. It doesn't have to come from the same picture, but it needs to be relevant to your picture, and you can't just erase it, because as we've already seen, there are backgrounds to your photograph. We can make those black and white again by clicking those little black and white squares so it's back to normal. Okay. By the way, I've had the clone stamp tool on 100% opacity. I'll just show you. If you don't have it on 100% opacity, I'll just click. Let's just go back. If you don't click 100% opacity, then you can end up, if I take out some of that stuff there, I'll zoom back in and you'll see what will happen. Gone a bit too far there, probably. There, we'll do that. That'll be fine. If we reduce the opacity level, and I say, right, let's choose that cloud area, hold down the mouse key, the Alt key again, click once to select that part of the picture, put it over. You can see, I still see the pillar, and if I do a little bit more opacity, I still see the pillar. So I want to take the pillar out completely. It needs to be at a higher opacity level, and 100% makes sense because you're wanting to place the whole of that area rather than just a portion of it. Okay, so the opacity should be near enough 100%. The mode is just left on normal, and you're just dealing with brush sizes which you can determine as you're working on your picture. Okay, hopefully that helps you to use the clone stamp tool. Thank you for watching.